Hello everybody, it's your guy here, the unknown, and today I want us to look at something very important. I want us to go through today's trades and I want to share something with you, okay? And I believe by now you already know that with the most explosive trading strategy for indices, we have 3 questions before the session starts and we only come 10 to 5 minutes before the session starts, okay? And the first question we ask ourselves is, do we have news? If we have news, we have to wait for the news to trade. Why? Because we can't predict news. We don't know the numbers, okay? And if we are going to be taking a trade before news, then we will be predicting, unless if those news are coming later in the evening, like FOMIC, okay? And the second question to ask ourselves is, are we in any form of a trend? Because we don't want to be in an explosive trend and actually counter trend it, okay? And the third question to ask ourselves is, who is trapped? As you can see, we are not in any form of a trend. Today there was no news. And again, who is trapped? They send people down, down, down. And when the session is opening here, who is losing? Everybody who went down is at a loss, right? Yes. So everybody who went down is actually trapped. And I will draw a box. But it's so easy because most of the time they're going to trap below or above the closing price of yesterday, okay? So now, as we have answered all the questions, we gonna wait for the session to start, and obviously the session is gonna start somewhere here, okay? This is the candle that opens the session and we are not gonna chase this candle, okay? Now, as the session has started, we don't even know if we're gonna buy or if we're gonna sell. Our job is to remain patient, okay, until we find a chart pattern, okay? Why? Because the chart pattern tells us that they have been busy trapping, and when they give us a big candle that breaks out of that pattern, now we know that they are leaving, because they will hide everything except their footsteps, okay? So the evidence candle is the big candle that closes outside, okay? It's a big breakout candle, okay? And it's their footstep. That candle tells us that now they are ready to leave. So I don't see a chart pattern. I don't see a chart pattern here, okay? And then they break to the top. I'm just waiting and looking at the charts because my job is mostly to wait. And then all of a sudden, what did they do? They gave a triangle. What did I tell you? I told you that 90% of my trades are triangles, right? And what did they do? They broke out. Okay, this is a big candle that broke out, okay? This is a big candle that broke out, and I told you my stop losses are actually 15 to 25 pips, okay? They are 15 to 25 pips, okay? So what happened with this one is, okay, yes, I take my trades here, but today I didn't take it here because, as you can see, it had a pin. I had my own doubts about it. Then they pulled back and came down here. So I missed this candle here. Why? Because I set my alerts above and I set my alerts below. So what I did was I had my first alert here and my other alert here. Okay, let me just draw lines. These are areas where I had my alerts, okay, because I use alerts. Once I identify a pattern in play, I want to set alerts. So I had alerts like this, okay? And when they broke out here, it sounded once, and I told you I always wait for the candle to close, because if the candle doesn't close, then I might be in trouble, because mostly when there are a few seconds left, they might close it as a pin, and that's what they actually did today. They closed it as a pin. I was still waiting, okay, because my job is to wait and take trades that are high probability trades, okay? So they pulled back and then they came down, okay? They came down here. Okay, so this is where I was supposed to take my trade. However, I had my alerts down here, so it didn't really sound when this candle actually closed. I was supposed to take it here because this had already broken out and this was a retest. Okay, so they had already retested and given a big engulfing candle here, so I was gonna take it because I didn't have a position here. However, my alerts were down here and I wasn't looking at this one, so I only took it somewhere here. Why? Because now that's when my alert that was here got triggered, okay? And of course, this was another big evidence candle. So this is where I sold. However, when I sold here, what actually happened is they went, I think they were 5 pips shy. You see, they were roughly 4-5 pips shy to my 50 pips, okay? And actually they ended up coming for me, and this one ended as a loss, okay? So yesterday I lost DJ30, which is the Dow, okay? And then let's go to my other trade, Nasdaq. I love this one, okay? Okay, same criteria, guys, as we can see, okay? When the session is opening here, who is trapped? We don't know. Why? Because there are people who were sent up and there were people who were sent down. Now the session is opening in the middle. So when the session opens in the middle, we don't know who's trapped, okay? So are we in any form of a trend? No. Okay. Do we have news? No. So again, we continue. Okay, we continue. What do we need? We need a chart pattern. Okay. So they went up and down, up and down. I didn't see a chart pattern at this moment, and the only chart pattern I was able to identify was this one. Okay. And guys, I tell you to always backtest. When you backtest, you're gonna get all the experience you need to start understanding these ones. Okay. Yes, this is the chart pattern I got. At first it was, I got something like this. Let me show you quite quick. I got something like this, but when they broke it here, it was no longer a reliable chart pattern. So I started redrawing my chart pattern, and this is the pattern that I actually got. Okay, this is the pattern that I got. Okay, as you can see, it's something like a rectangle. Okay, it would have been more completed if they came down again, but they didn't do that. Okay, however, I told you, when the pattern is doubtful, something is going to stand out, and that's something that is meant to help you. What? The evidence candle. You see, the evidence candle. They now broke out of this pattern with a beautiful, beautiful big candle. Yes, the first breakout candle was like full of doubts. It had pins. However, this one, as you can see, it went all the way out and actually closed as a very, very big candle. So this is where I took it. Okay, and I told you my stops are roughly 15 to 25. So this one was roughly 25 pips, and 25 pips was somewhere here. Okay, 25 pips, 25 pips. Okay, so I believe you can see why I actually took these trades. Okay, it's the same criteria I speak about almost every day. So I took it somewhere here. Okay, and because it was late already, I just targeted 150 pips. Okay, because it was late, and again, considering the time it took to actually build this pattern, it was way beyond it was almost 2 hours. They took almost 2 hours to build this candle, and usually I close around here, I close my charts around here, but this was still in the process. Okay, and I saw that, oh, they are actually building a very beautiful pattern, and I wanted to wait and see what was happening. So I took it here, put my stops, and closed my screen. My target was 150. Okay, 150, of which, yes, they did end up going to hit. Just wanted to show you this. So guys, I showed you my loss, and I showed you the win that I had. 150 actually was hit now. Okay, it was hit few minutes. Yes, 150 was hit here. I told you, if you backtest, you'll start understanding why I target such big moves sometimes. But again, our agreed target is 50 pips. So 50 pips was actually hit very much earlier. Okay, but this move ended up going to my 150 pips. So you can see it's just a beautiful, beautiful triangle. Okay, touched here, they touch here, they come down. Okay, and they break with the third one after, of course, playing. Okay, so this one doesn't have three touches, but when you look at it and the engulfing candle, it gives you all the confidence. So sometimes, yes, they will give you patterns in which you have your own doubts, but the evidence candle is something that's supposed to stand out and really, really give you that confidence to execute. Okay, so today, yes, I lost one, and actually I won one. Okay, I didn't stay long enough again to actually enter for a continuation, but again, they didn't give an engulfing candle, because if they retest, I want to get that big engulfing candle. Okay, and of course that this one did exactly what the S&P actually did. Okay, it did what the S&P actually did, because if you look at it, it's just that here it wasn't that clear because it was a slope, and I told you, look at them at the same time. That's when you will see what's actually transpiring. Okay, uh, that's when you'll see exactly what's transpiring, because if you don't do that, mostly you're gonna miss the beautiful, beautiful moves. Okay, so yeah, in a nutshell, that's what I took. And just to share something with you, sometimes patterns will do this. If you come to gold, okay, this is a trade I saw earlier on, but I I couldn't take it because I was at a place where the network was so poor early in the morning, so I couldn't really execute this one. Okay, let me show you quite quick. This was a triangle. Okay, beside, even if I remove this line, now they are just building this triangle in between this one and the closing price. So they did bounce, 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 and they broke to the upside. And the reason, let me show you the reason. Okay, the reason this didn't present a good trade is that, okay, you can see this is hardly a breakout. Okay, and then they came down, and as they came down, that's when they broke out, but was full of doubts, because sometimes, guys, they broke out with pin. Let's look at this. I think this is going to help most of you. Okay, if they break out with a candle that has a pin, your job is to wait. Okay, look at the second candle again. It has a pin. Just wait. What you want to do is, if you're going to be taking a trade on such trades, you want to take a trade on a candle that actually closes below the pins. Okay, you need something that will close below the pins. Okay, and until you get something that closes below the pins, you have nothing to execute on. Why? Because if you execute somewhere here on the pins, you don't know because you don't have evidence as to if they are leaving or not. But when this candle closes, you see it closed below the pins. This is what you can take now, because this is their evidence. They gave you pins, but they again gave you evidence that they are leaving. Okay, so yes, sometimes they can break out to the top and come and break out to the other side and just go. This one actually gave, I think it was more than 100 pips so quick. Okay, yes, okay, it gave more than 100 pip in 18 minutes. But the thing is, guys, the patterns are so important. They are so important, and I love this one more because it was playing inside, and they really did play. I thought they broke out to the top, but this one, you can see it's hardly a breakout. Yes, it is a breakout, but it's hardly a breakout. Okay, it's hardly a breakout. You just need a candle that you can trust, a candle that shows that now they are leaving, not something that still has doubts as if they can still come and bounce. Remember, this is an area with a lot of resistance. So at this place, you need to be sure that they've given you a super big breakout, because if they haven't, well, then the resistance can still actually play a role. Okay, so I think, guys, with all of this, I showed you my loss. Okay, which was here. And by the way, they were only rough 5 pips shy, so it's okay, 5 pips shy. Okay, but the pattern was so good, and even if this trade happens again, I will take it over and over and over again. Unfortunately for me today, my alerts were here down. Usually I set another alert for when they're coming down. So had I done that, I would have taken this one again, and this one would have delivered my 50 pips, by the way, because you see it went 57 pips. But I'm not worried about this loss. It's just a slight loss because they closed me on their way back. Okay, 25 pips from this candle. I took it here, so 25 pips from here. It was okay. Let me show you. Yes, they closed me on the way back. Yeah, they closed me somewhere here. And guys, imagine you're losing 25 pips and my win was 150 pips. Okay, so I wouldn't really mind all of this. Okay, so guys, be patient, be super patient. That's all you need to do. If you are looking for a pattern, just be super patient. And sometimes you'll take a pattern and lose it. That doesn't mean you took a bad trade. Okay, it's just that sometimes they will do things like that. Okay, they will do things like that, and there is completely nothing wrong with that. And that also happened on Friday. They did something like that. So that's some things you must understand that they happen, but you should execute, because you don't know if the trade you're opening is going to be a win or a loss. Your job is just to execute. And what are you executing? What good trade? Every day you have to focus on one good trade. Okay, what is one good trade? It's a trade where all your criteria are met. Okay, so guys, that's highly important. Sometimes you lose, it's okay. Some days you'll close red, it's okay. Your job is to take one good trade. Just make sure you are not over risking. Why? Because if you over risk, and say for instance for me, if I over risked on this loss, I wasn't gonna be able to take this one. Okay, I was maybe gonna take this one, and because I've already lost, I was like, oh, I want to trail it instantly, and that's something that's gonna cost you a lot. Okay, because each trade is independent of the results you had on the trade before. Okay, each trade is different and must be given uh like a fair chance. Okay, but because you lost the first one, you are more likely not gonna give the next one all like a fair chance. Okay, but you must give every trade a fair chance. So guys, without over risking, even if I lost this one, I was still gonna be okay. Why? Because I'm not the guy who's looking for very big wins, big wins in a day. No, I'm looking for something that's rinsable. I'm looking for something that even if I take a loss, I'm not gonna be bothered. I'm not gonna be worried. Okay, I will still be able to come back tomorrow and take another one. Okay, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, honestly, guys. So yeah, these are good trades, and I believe, guys, this video shed a lot of lights to you. Okay, yes, sometimes they will break in one side, maybe you lose and they're gonna break to the opposite side. Okay, so sometimes for me, yes, if I lose this side, I can still take this side provided they spend more time actually building up this thing. Okay, so yeah, that's what I actually do. And guys, I appreciate you. Have a blessed night. Okay.